88.1 The Burg, your music central. You are in the backyard burn with your boy Shane Dog Peterson, and you know who's always with me. You know him, you love him. It's Mr. Noah Annette. Noah, how was your weekend, bud?
Pretty good. I got addicted to streaming this last weekend, and I'm really just supposed to do it on like Saturday nights, but there's not that many people that are streaming for us quite yet, and so I was like, I just want to fill up the time and do a bunch. So I did it probably 3 days in a row, but it turned out the one that like everyone from here was there was off it, and I was like, dang it, and I was like, but then the two after that were like super clean. But it was cool because on the one on Saturday, one of my guys, Captain, joined the party.
Oh, boy.
And let's just say Captain is absurdly good at League of Legends and has been playing it for a while. He is level 400 in the game. And to put it into perspective, I probably play like an hour a day at least, and so like an hour a day, that's gonna get you to like level 70. That's about where I'm at. For Captain,
70.
he is level 400.
Interesting. Well, I've been actually jumping in and watching some of your streams that you've been going on, and we've got a bunch of different reviews and different blogs going on at our website at 881theburg.com. You can go there. There's even a few articles written here by you, Noah, talking about some of the different types of stuff that's going on in the esports world. And one thing that I do got to ask you, Noah, where can they find you on Twitch? Where can you be found on Twitch?
It's at 881theburg on Twitch. And you'll also see some Brady Robic on there. He likes to play as Rainbow Six Siege. And apparently he had a really bad day the other day. We were both talking about it because I was asking him what times he goes on. And he goes, I played some ranked games on stream, and I lost every single one really bad. And I was like, that was like when I was first starting to stream. I was playing some ranked games, and I just decided I'm not going to play ranked games while I'm streaming. I can't focus.
Well, I mean, you just set yourself up to maybe get the beat down put on you, because some of those guys that are on those streams, they are really, they're mad dogs with it. I know a bunch of people, we have a mutual friend, Connor Ford, the Jersey Devil, now located in Ellensburg. He's a big streamer, and he likes to play his games. And there's tons of this esports stuff going around. I still, every time I pick up a video game controller and I try to play video games, I think about all the other stuff that I have to do, and I about give myself a panic attack. So I've just been trying to stay away from the games. There's
only one game that I've excelled really far at, that I could beat most people playing it. Is kind of my argument. I don't know if I could ever go competitive in it, but I was really good at just the 2K basketball games. I had a streak with the Houston Rockets that still has not been broken, but I haven't played in a long time. So there's the pros and the cons, but I hadn't lost with the Houston Rockets in 2K in a while. Is basically the best way to put it. I don't want to put a number on there because then someone's going to be like, you need to play me as the Rockets. But at the time of the streak, it had been a while, and I haven't played in a couple of years like another person. So, I mean, the streak's still active, but we're just gonna hold it there because it's rather large, and I kind of don't want to lose it.
Well, you know what they say, Noah. Sometimes you got to be a shooter in these streets, and it seems like you're a shooter in these streets and a shooter in one of them games, dude. You're probably draining the threes with the Rockets. That's how I probably see it. You're just a shooter in the streets and a shooter in the game.
Shane, the Rockets are broken. That's all I have to say. Either the Rockets are a busted team, or I just know how to play with them. One or the two. But I think it's because they had they had the games that I was playing with them. I haven't played the new game with Westbrook on the Rockets, but what was cool was you had Chris Paul as a distributor, and then you had Clint Capella, who could get every rebound and just dunk when you pass it to him. And then you have James Harden, who can shoot from anywhere within the offensive half. So you have those three players working in tandem, and then their other off-ball people are three-point shooters. So it was just like the perfect team for me to play as.
The perfect trifecta. Well, we're going to have some more gaming stuff and some more news, TV guides, all the things that you know and love that we like to talk about. We have plenty of more coming up in the hour. 88 won the Burg, your music central, backyard burn, Shane Peterson, Noah Annette. You know what it is and where it's at. We are here and we got some news. You know, we got news from the sports world, even though we didn't got no sports going on or very little sports. We got news coming out of everywhere. But this is a sport that I love to talk about. Don't know enough about it. But we're talking about the good old footy, the good old game of soccer.
Yeah. Honestly, I have to talk about this thing that is going on outside of my window real quick. It's 2
what's
seconds.
going on?
The dude that is the propane guy just hopped my neighbor's fence to go fill up their propane tank. And there are like 6 dogs chasing him around the yard. Like, I cannot hold back looking at that scene right now.
See, this is what happens when you're on quarantine and you got to do remote radio cast. We would be sitting in a nice studio and we'd be looking at the Japanese garden on campus and just seeing people walking around on their merry day. But you're watching people getting attacked by dogs. This is awesome.
Yeah, he's just trying to fill up the propane tank and the dogs are just circling it like sharks.
Oh, that's bad news. Those are called the nice guy guards, all the dogs out there. But now that we've had our giggles and that you're showing me all this goofiness, we needed to talk a little bit about soccer, because the soccer thing's a little bit of an interesting phenomenon, especially with this whole virus going around.
Yeah, so the Bundesliga, which is the German league, opened up, and what they've done is they've social distanced their bench, so all their players are not sitting next to each other, but they are. Like, they're 6 feet next to each other, and their coaches. And so while you're on the sideline, you got to wear a mask. And I don't think the coaches do, because they have to communicate. And the flag-bearing officials have to wear a mask. But the one that runs up and down the field does not. The one that's actually on the field does not have to wear a mask, because he's got to like blow his whistle and stuff. And then all of the other players don't wear masks while they're playing. So, and then there's no fans, but the benches look. The benches look pretty goofy, because it's like all of these individual. It looks like a bunch of individual gaming chairs next to each other. Is what it really looks like.
That's interesting. The thing is one thing about soccer is soccer is such a big sport around the world that when you take soccer away from people, you're taking a part of their life away from them for a lot of people, which is pretty crazy, because you don't really see that with much other sports. But with the soccer, you can see it globally that people will lose their minds. People lose their lives over soccer, strangely enough. And I was going through the news today, and when you were talking about soccer, I saw the story, and I felt that there's a correlation. So basically, there's a lot of lockdowns going on all over Europe, just like here we are in America. And it looks like due to the lockdown, people decided in the town of Walker, it's a little small part of Newcastle in the country of Great Britain. They decided that since they can't open up their pubs or do anything quite yet, that they decided to get a mass gathering and do bare knuckle brawls outside of the pub. And people brought their own beer and lawn chairs, and they held public bare knuckle boxing fights. These are the things that happen when you take away sports.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to partake in that. I think I'm going to partake in the actually just nothing involved in bare knuckle anything.
Are you kidding me, dude? You would tell me you would not love to sit back in a nice comfy lawn chair, maybe a charcuterie board, some snacks,
Yeah,
and you
get
just
my
watch
adult
some
Lunchable and start watching bare knuckle boxing outside.
I can't think of a better time. I truthfully can't.
I think it would be a good time, but I just wonder, like, if it's going to escalate too much, and then they're going to start, like, being like, hey, you need to get in there. Everyone takes their turn.
Well, the thing that I think is funny is that they literally made a fight club, and they broke the number one rule of the fight club. Don't talk about the fight club or let it get out. So they obviously have not done their research and don't know who Paul Walker is. So they need to figure themselves out.
Yeah. They need to figure out who Paul Walker is. Stop doing the silly stuff.
Yeah, tell me Paul Walker was in Fight Club. I'm pretty sure he was, right?
It's not Paul Walker. I don't know if Paul Walker is.
No!
It's Ed
No,
Norton.
I'm pretty hold on. I thought
it's Edward Norton and Brad Pitt.
I know Brad Pitt's in it. I thought the other one.
It's Ed Norton.
No,
it's Incredible Hulk.
Here I am again, shooting my mouth off, looking like an idiot on air. This is not the first time, nor will it be the last.
Dude, Paul Walker's Fast and Furious.
Yeah, you know what? If that would be different if they had a like a Japanese domestic little car drifting show during this time. Then I would probably tell them that they should know who Paul Walker is. But let's just go back and refrain that comment. I removed that comment. I know you can't really do that, but I removed that comment. Oh boy. Yeah. So they broke the number one rule of the Fight Club. They let everybody know about the Fight Club, and now it's known around the world, and now it's been broadcast and brought to you here in the Central Valley of Washington.
You know, I've never finished Fight Club. I've always gotten like halfway through it, and then I fall asleep. And I should not be watching Fight Club at nighttime. But every time I start watching it, it's like really late at night, and then I pass out, and I'm like, oh, great. I'm halfway through Fight Club again. And it's just a repeating process.
I have always struggled watching it too. I just have watched basically the first half because same thing. I always fall asleep during movies. I'm the worst at that, especially movie theaters. When you get the big comfy chairs and you sit back, guaranteed going to knock out if I go to a midnight showing.
Yeah, do not go to. I can't stand it because my friends always wanted to go at 11 to go watch a movie at the theater, and I cannot do that because Age of Ultron. Passed out. The only time I woke up during Age of Ultron was when missiles were going off from Ultron. That was the whole, like, that Avengers movie. Another movie, like, it was one of the Spider-Man movies. Fell asleep. Pretty much all of the Avengers movies while explosions are happening. The first time I watched them, I was passed out.
I fell asleep one time watching the new Red Dawn movie in theaters, and I woke up to somebody getting shot in the head. And that was not a very pleasant thing to wake up to. Oh, boy. And Noah, like we always say, we're on the tracks, and then we find ways to get off of them.
Oh, yeah. Lots of derailing.
We started with German soccer leagues to British pub brawls to movies that we can't stay awake to in theaters. We're all over the place. 88.1 The Burg, your music central, Backyard Burn, Shane Dog Peterson, Noah Annette. And right now, none of you can really see this, but I'm staring at this tiny screen on my computer, and I'm watching Noah look around for what he's telling us is a surprise. Noah, what does this surprise entail? You've got me intrigued.
Okay, so I have a lot of random things around my house from my youth that I think are hilarious.
Okay.
And so there's been a bunch of things I've been saving up to not bring out. And now I have one that is very special.
Oh, no.
It is a hat of sorts. It is
oh boy.
a cat in the hat.
Go boy. Oh God. I remember when we had the Dr. Seuss days at my school and people would order the Cat in the Hat hats and rock those things around. I used to have one of those. Oh
Yeah,
boy.
I knew where this was like for a while. I was like, I think it would be really funny to just put this on my head.
I think you just should have just put that on before we started the show and just answered the video chat. The thing is the funny part about the Cat in the Hat hats, especially the one that you have on, it reminds me of Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Doomsdale Dimmadome, because he's got the big old tall hat and it's almost going completely out of frame. If you painted that thing white, you got a solid Halloween costume going.
So I used to have the one that was white, and then it got ruined. So then I got the one that was blue later on.
So it's just, I've had multiple of these. I used to have them in all shapes, sizes, and colors.
I had like 3 of them. A Cat in the Hat's like my jam.
That's my jam. Is Cat in the Hat like your favorite Dr. Seuss book?
One of them by far. I mean, I probably read that and Green Eggs and Ham the most.
I always liked the book, The Places You'll Go.
Ooh, that was a good one.
That is, I think, probably the best child's book in the world. And every time I'd always bring up that book, I always tell the story, like my mom used to read it to me as a kid and always tell me that the kid's name in the book was Shane. And then he was going around doing all these adventures. And I'm just like, that's me. That could be me. And I was all pumped about it. And then later in life, when I brought it up, I'd be like, yeah, my mom used to always tell me like the guy's character's name was Shane. And multiple times I've had other people go, hey, yeah, so did my parents.
That's funny.
Yeah, I was like, it's felt all sentimental. And then everybody's just like, nah, not really, dude.
So I kind of want to blame Dr. Seuss books for stopping my growth in reading a little bit, because so I can just fine, but I don't like reading. Like, I'm not a big book reader. Let's just throw it out there.
Neither am I.
I've read I read, big old textbooks throughout college. They're just not my favorite. For ones that I had to read it for the class, but usually I try to skim them. And I still have the capability to read really difficult things. I just don't like it. I like reading like articles and magazines. That's more my jam. And I think it's because of Dr. Seuss, to be honest. Like, I did not want to read the bigger books. I just wanted to go through Dr. Seuss, have a good time, and read some one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish.
I don't think that's a hard request at all, Noah. I mean, I am really bad at reading. I actually was illiterate till the 3rd grade. Couldn't write my own name, couldn't read, couldn't write words, had a speech impediment. It was all bad.
we went uphill from there.
Yeah, dude, I think around the time I was hitting those Dr. Seuss books hard, it was about the 5th grade, which is about 3 years past when I should have been hitting them books.
Yeah, I had a writing, allegedly a writing deficiency, like when I was younger, right? Mm-hmm. And there were basically, I switched schools, and then they were like, he has no problems at all. This other school is just dumb. He basically just resented the teachers, basically, is how I would put it.
Did you resent them?
I think I just resented the people that were trying to help me become better at writing.
Did they make comments about your hat?
No. If they did, then I would have probably resented them more. I think it was just because I don't know. Maybe I just didn't like them. I was a kid. I'm talking I'm how old are you in the 1st and 2nd grade?
Like 6 or 7.
I'm 5 or 6 in this situation, not liking people. So, I mean, who knows the reasoning, but back when I was that age, I had a pretty valid reason.
I mean, I used to hate my teachers too when I was younger, but I mean, we all have our reasons. When we're all little kids, we're all brats and we're all weird as all get out. I mean, Noah, would you wear that hat that you're wearing right now out to the Tav or out to Blue Rock on a good old Thursday night here in Ellensburg?
On Halloween, and I'm in a cat suit.
That would have been a good. That would have been a great costume for you.
Yeah. I think I would have enjoyed that costume very, very thoroughly. Actually, I probably would wear this hat just depending on on what day it is. Like if it's early in the quarter, no.
But if it's finals week and I need it for good luck, I'm wearing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you should do now is next Zoom class that you have, just wear the hat and not say anything. And then when people are like, hey, Noah, I like your hat, just be like, what hat?
Do that in my Zoom class about my GoFundMe that I'm running. And
yeah, dude, present your GoFundMe and just wear the hat. That would be the best.
I would, but I could not do it because the next class we have for that is our final class. Well, we gotta present stuff.
Well, I say you have to put the hat on at some point in the presentation. It's not going to hurt your grade.
It actually would, I think.
Well, you know what? I would disagree with the business department if they're going to be making judgments and knocking you down for using humor. Everybody likes humor. All my presentations are about humor. Everybody likes humor. Everybody's having fun. I mean, look at us. Look at we got a guy wearing a cat in the hat on, and I have one of I get told this a lot. I'm a very, strange looking cat with my style, but the one thing that keeps me together is my mustache that I keep all maintained.
Yeah, honestly, we're something else, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, we'll just need to leave it at that because I was not expecting Noah to be dressing up like a Dr. Seuss character for this break, but this is what happens on the burn, folks. You just never know. 88 won the Burg, your music central, backyard burn, Shane Dog Peterson, Noah and Ned. And you might know us by the backyard burn guys, but you also might know us as your trusty TV guides because we're here to talk about some more stuff that's going on the tube and some of the interesting thing that's going on in the streaming world. Noah, I know that you have been hot on one of the new animated shows on Hulu, correct?
Yeah, I almost finished Solar Opposites. I got halfway through the final episode and fell asleep, which is fine. I knew it was going to happen, but I will tell you that episode 7 is by far the best episode of the show, and it has nothing to do with the main characters. Basically, this isn't a spoiler or anything, but there's the aliens in the show, 2 of them shrink down like humans during the show and put them in their own basically they use them like action figures basically. And so they're all trapped in this area essentially. And so they get stuck in this wall and they have to fight for survival. And some of the best clips of the show are the people in the wall fighting each other for survival. And, and there's this one episode about a man cave and they can't say it right and it's hilarious. They think it's called a man cave instead of a man cave.
Mm.
And they talk about having, the term a cold one, the term of that.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually water in the shape of a one. It's the drink that they're having. It's just little humor like that got me going. So I really enjoyed it. I don't think it's as good as Rick and Morty, who Justin Roiland is on that as well, but I think it's a good start and it was a good first season. It also has the kid that plays Adam in the Goldbergs. I forget his name. I don't know if you've seen the Goldbergs, Shane, but he's the little kid in the Goldbergs, which is big fan of that show as well. But
I have not seen the Goldbergs, but I have seen a little bit of the Solar Opposites. The thing that I like, I don't know why. I don't know if it's like our generation or what it is, but the adult themed cartoons that we have had growing up, and certain things like Family Guy, The Simpsons. Wow, why am I spacing already? South Park,
like American Dad, that
American Dad, yeah. Cleveland Show, those types of like kind of more advanced humor, like animated shows, I think are my favorite. I'm a 25-year-old man on the 14th of next month, and I still love watching cartoons. I even, you're usually the expert TV guy, but I watched a new series that I felt was very compelling. And again, it's a cartoon, but it's a show called The Midnight Gospel. I've talked to you a little bit about it, Noah, but for all of you that don't know about The Midnight Gospel, this is from the creators of Adventure Time and comedian and podcaster Duncan Trussell. And it takes place with this character named Clancy, who basically is a spacecaster. So he's like a podcaster or a radio DJ of sorts. And he has a generator that puts him into alternate universes where he goes and interviews strange people and characters and creatures. And all of the interviews that he has are actually real interviews from his real life on his podcast. A lot of them exhibiting themes about death, love, acceptance, humility, things that are pretty deep. I think y'all need to go check it out. It is on Netflix. It has 8 episodes, and I'm going to suggest watch every single episode in order and take your time until you get to the finale, because the finale is a tearjerker. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. Also, like, to piggyback on that, like, I watched, I actually watched the last episode of Rick and Morty. Can't remember if it was the final episode of the season or not, but it honestly was one of those ones where it hits you really hard as well. Basically, the premise of it is a vat of acid. Like, it's called the acid episode, and because basically they jump in a vat of acid. That's all I'm gonna say. The rest of it will give it away. But so it was about that, and then also Morty gets this thing where he wanted Rick to make him this invention, and then it's about how Morty uses the invention that Rick gives him for a little while, and just kind of everything that went along with that. And it was just it was really sad in the moment of the episode, and it was really sad at the end of the episode as well. It was it hit you almost three or four times, just really really sad things during it. And essentially it's one of those ones I don't want to give anything more away of it because it was so good, but it's just one of those episodes where it hits you and all these different feelings, because and you have no idea how it's all going to play out at the end.
That, my friends, is what's being called getting hit right in the feels. That is exactly what that is. And that's what these shows have the power to do, man. It's kind of strange to just see silly cartoons, but they hold so much weird contextual meaning. I find it fascinating. I don't know why. I might just be the only one thinking this. Some of you that are listening are like, Shane, we don't care about your cartoons. 88.1 The Burg, your music central. It is the end of the burn. The fire is getting low, and it's time to call in the dogs, and your 2 dogs are here first. Shane Dog Peterson and Noah Annette. And Noah, we only got a short time left to do all this goofy stuff, and I'm enjoying every second of it. Let the people know how you feel.
Well, I'm feeling pretty good. I was laughing pretty hard because you were a floating head about 3 seconds ago. And I don't know if it'll work again. But
I'm going to try to see if I can.
Yeah,
there it is.
Leaning.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
The thing is with the Zoom chats, we do a lot of our shows through Zoom chats and have it recorded so you can see the video on our YouTube page at 881 The Burg and on also all of our social medias at 881 The Burg on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. But we do all this through Zoom chats, and I put the virtual background up because I'm in my uncle's extra spare office. So it's not super flattering, and I don't think it really fits the theme of the Backyard Burn. So I have this little fire going on, and if I move my microphone a certain way or put my head of my body in a certain angle, I will just have a floating head, which I kind of want to try to do a whole break with just a floating head, but none of you will be able to see it.
Yeah, it's like, this is a radio show that does go on to a video like format as well. So everyone that's driving around in their car is going to be like, or like listening on the radio in general is going to be like, what are they talking about? These two hooligans? And then
yeah, they probably think we sound like idiots.
Yeah, then it's like, okay, well then maybe you should watch the video show, and maybe we're less hooligans on there,
Yeah, I think everybody should go on and watch this episode and see Noah in his Cat in the Hat get up, because that's a winner right there. I mean, honestly, that's a look.
It was a 10 out of 10 hat.
10 out of 10 hat.
It fit me just like the Cat in the Hat, where it doesn't fit your head quite right and it sticks in a weird direction. So I'm gonna give myself at least an 8 on the effectiveness scale there, 8 out of 10.
Well, I mean, you pulled off a lot of the fashion points as well, too. I think you could probably make it on Fashion Week in New York City with that hat. You just might have to put on a nice, neutral color jacket, something silly, I don't know. I'm just coming out here blabbling around, just throwing as many darts on the board as possible. And I mean, I think that hat would be just the ultimate Zoom chat hat. Like, you just need to have that for all your Zoom meetings from now on. You just need to make that your thing.
I have a couple other hats that I actually have like an item planned for every day that we're recording this week. And I think tomorrow I might save the one that I was going to do for tomorrow for Friday, because I think it's just a little over the top.
Well, we're going to be looking forward to it. No, I'm always looking forward to surprises, and we are both always looking forward to giving you guys some music, some talk, and just give you an hour a day to listen to two idiots babble on about TV, sports, and anything in between.